Okay, I'm back. Did you happen to watch MSNBC last night, Chris Hayes' program? Chris has been slowly, and actually the rate of his drifting into the same kind of hysteria that I get into has been slowly accelerating. But last night on Chris Hayes' program, he actually used the word, first he said, excuse me, goddamn, about something he was reporting on about how this country, with people like DeSantis and Jacket Off Jim and these two bitches who are both getting divorced. I'm talking about the Q bitch, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and this crazy goddamn Colorado nutcase, Lauren Bobo. And Chris Hayes, you know, I watch him a lot. I don't really know him, but we have mutual friends. And I've been watching him lately because I like his program. And what I've noticed is he is becoming less and less able to control his rage. I know that feeling. Oh. Now, one of the ways that these media types like Chris Hayes, and I have great respect for him, one of the ways that they do control their rage is because they are working for a corporation that rule one is control your rage, obviously, right? But it is getting more and more difficult. Joe Scarborough is another example. And I see these guys because they are rational human beings. I know Scarborough grew up in the reddest redneck part of Florida Panhandle, Alabama, Mississippi. He was a member of Congress from the Florida Panhandle. He used to be, well, he was a conservative, but he was right one step away from getting into the nutcase conservative caucus. But I think his wife, Mika, in combination with the madness of Donald Trump, pulled him back. Oh, he's still a conservative, but he's more like a Republican conservative. He's more like a Jacob Javits or somebody like that. So, but I've noticed that so many of these commentators are obviously having a very difficult time containing the rage that is coming from realizing what the fuck is going on in this country. And what Chris Hayes was talking about last night was how close the state of Florida is becoming in being the first state to go total fascist because of DeSantis. DeSantis signed into law a bill that takes away from parents. Now, these Republicans, these Christians, right? They're always talking about, well, parental rights. Bullshit. Now, if you're a parent in Florida and you have a child, say a 13-year-old, who you as the parent and your spouse as the other parent and a doctor, maybe a psychiatrist, maybe a counselor, been working with your child for, say, maybe 6 years since the child discovered that his gender was different from his birth sex. And you, as a parent, and your spouse, and your doctor, and probably your spiritual advisor, have been working with your child to get him centered into the identity that he wants to be centered in, which is what parents are supposed to do. But now, if you would even attempt to continue to do that, say hormone treatments. Now, athletes in Florida can still get all the hormone injections they want. But if you do it for your child as part of gender transformation, do you realize, and very few people do, that you can go to jail after your child has been taken from you? That is fascism, God damn it, to quote Chris Hayes. That is fascism. If you are a school teacher, you can lose your right to teach and suffer criminal penalties if you mention critical race theory or, God forbid, LGBTQ issues in your classroom. A case is happening right now under investigation. I mentioned this during the week of a school teacher who showed a Disney movie to her kids. That was an ecological movie. It had that as a theme, but there was a or two characters who displayed what a Christian fascist would say, them goddamn are queers. Them are queers. Look what they're doing. Them are queers. They are not. They are too. Oh, God help me. Oh, excuse me for saying that. Goddess, somebody. But as I watch formerly rational, controlled white males, television commenters, pundits, whatever you want to call Chris Hayes, Joe Scarborough, all those people that they have on as guests now, people whose ideas I have great respect for whose ideas I have respect. And if you watch them, you'll see they're getting a little crispy around the edges, kind of like your humble and obedient servant here started going through during the Bush years. Oh, my God. I'm not trying to make a point that I'm a vanguard of anything. I'm just saying they have these men, these and the women, a lot of the women, although the women some of them seem more able to contain the rage. Think what women are going through in this country right now, the ones that are conscious, that haven't had their brains eaten by some religious bullshit or under total domination by the patriarchal structure of this country. Think what women are dealing with. They're being told their kids can be taken from them. They're being told that if they happen to get pregnant, the state will make them have that baby. It doesn't make any difference what the woman wants. Then when your kids go to school, the state will now determine what is not to be taught. And what is not to be taught is history. That's what critical race theory is. Social studies, that's what understanding LGBTQ issues happens to be. But the state now in Florida has taken from parents these rights, from parents, which is exactly what Hitler did with the Nazi youth. Oh, Mike, not another Hitler reference. Yes, you're goddamn right, another Hitler reference. Just because DeSantis is a goofy-looking, goofy-sounding, smiley-faced jerk-off, that doesn't mean... I mean, look at look at what he forces through the Florida legislature. Look at what he advocates. Look at what he gets passed as law. I don't give a shit how many times he laughs and giggles and tosses back a beer. He is as much of a Nazi as Adolf Hitler. These are dangerous times, folks. These are such dangerous times. Oh, my God. But it was so... I don't want this to sound arrogant at all, because that's not where it's coming from. But I felt so sorry for Chris Hayes last night when he said, la, 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 excuse me, goddamn. I felt so sorry for him. Because even though MSNBC is cable, it's not like ABC, NBC, or CBS. It's cable. And the restrictions on language on cable are a lot less stringent than over-the-air broadcasting. Even given that, the pressure on the commenters and anchors and guests and so on and so forth is to stay away from bad words, stay away from cursing, Don't ever say fuck. I mean, maybe Trump can say pussy, but you can't. Maybe Trump can say shithole countries, but even though Mika Brzezinski said it a couple times, we don't want that to become a habit. Do you understand? So it was with an awful lot of concern that I watched Chris lose it last night. And that's what it was. He lost it. It was controlled loss. He knew he was losing it. I guess that wouldn't be a loss then, was it? Okay, whatever. But it's frightening. It is frightening what is happening. And I just wish, I truly do, that there were more people concerned about this. You know, 2 years ago, we watched an attempt to hang the vice president, drag the Speaker of the House into the street to do God knows what to, overthrow the government by a bunch of ignorant white assholes who, among any 30 of them, didn't have the common sense that nature gave a buzzfly. And it's going to happen again. I mean, it truly, truly is. It's going to happen again. That was a rehearsal. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. You know, the Progressive Voices Network brings you commercial-free commentary from today's leading progressive radio hosts and pundits, like me, Mike Malloy, 24 hours a day. I'm not your typical old guy from the 80s or the 90s talk radio host, and Progressive Voices is not your typical talk radio network. It's a listener-supported nonprofit with no corporate control whatsoever over our broadcast. So hosts like me, Mike Malloy, are free to rant and scream and carry on about whatever we like. We're often controversial, but we're never boring. Weeknights, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West on the Progressive Voices Network. Always progressive, always on. I'm Mike Malloy. Keep it lit.